The Portland Trail Blazers are off to an amazing start as the third seed in the West with 4 wins and 2 losses. Drew Holiday has been leading this squad like a true vet, and Deni Avdija is breaking out right in front of our eyes. Can this team continue playing at this level? Let's find out in this Blazers rebuild in NBA 2K26. Taking a look at our roster, we definitely have ourselves a lot of depth. We have Toumani Camara, who's one of the best perimeter defenders in the entire NBA. We have Damian Lillard, who signed back with our team this past offseason, but sadly he will be out for the entirety of the 25-26 season with a torn right Achilles. We have Jeremy Grant, who off the bench is averaging 21 points per game, Shaedon Sharpe, Donovan Clingan, Robert Williams III, and Scoot Henderson, who's currently out with an injury but should be back in 1 to 2 weeks. To start out this season, we're running with a 9-man rotation, and the starting lineup will include Drew Holiday, Shaedon Sharpe, Toumani Camara, Deni Avdija, and Donovan Clingan, and then off the bench we have Jeremy Grant, Robert Williams III, Matisse Thybulle, and Blake Wesley. Once Scoot Henderson recovers from his injury, I'll show you guys what the new updated roster will be looking like, but let's go ahead and simulate the next week and see just how we do. We beat the Lakers, we lose the OKC Thunder, and we also beat the Miami Heat. Against the LA Lakers, Deni Avdija led the way with 26 points, 8 rebounds, 9 assists. Drew Holiday dropped 24, 5 and 8. Shaedon Sharpe had himself 21 points. And we finally get back Scoot Henderson from his injury, and currently I am going to be running him as our 6th man. He is a 78 overall, and I would much rather have Drew Holiday and Shaedon Sharpe be our backcourt. So they're going to be starting as of right now, and Scoot Henderson will probably be starting for us next season once he progresses in the coming off season, but as of right now he will be in the 6-man role. Let's go ahead and simulate the next week and see how Scoot Henderson does with our team. We do end up winning 2 out of the 4 games of this week, and how is Scoot Henderson playing? So far he's playing really well, averaging 15 points per game, 4 assists, shooting 51% from the field, and nearly 39% from the 3-point line. I was checking out who our head coach is, and I totally forgot the Blazers have Chauncey Billups as their head coach, but since he's been arrested and is no longer a head coach, we're going to have to go ahead and fire him and hire ourselves a new head coach, and this guy right here seems pretty well. His name's Randall Chapman. He's a really good defensive head coach, so let's go ahead and offer him a contract on a 4-year, $8 million contract. We could always switch him out this coming off season where we could get ourselves a better head coach, but as of right now, we're going to have Randall Chapman be the head coach. And I just said head coach there like 10 times, so my bad for that, but let's see what the system proficiency will be looking like. So we're running on a 3.5-star overall system proficiency, balanced under Randall Chapman. His coach preferred system is defense, which has a 4-star, but I don't really want to run on defense because I think balanced will be a lot better for our team. I also want to give a huge shout out to my boy Wingtum Goat, who gave me the idea to make this rebuild, so a huge shout out to Wingtum Goat. We were forced to sign a player that's currently a free agent because we had less than 14 players, and I went ahead and gave Malik Beasley a 2-year, $4.7 million contract. He could possibly be coming off our bench, helping out our team with 3-point shooting. So I'm stopped here at the trade deadline. We're currently the number 3 seed with 33 wins and 18 losses. So as of right now, I won't be pulling off any trades. I do think our team has been playing pretty well here in the regular season. So we're going to run with the same exact core and see what we could do in the playoffs. Hopefully if we make the playoffs, that is. The Western Conference is really strong. As you guys can see there on the left side of the screen, the 7 seed is only a few wins behind us. They're not that far. So hopefully we continue playing good and make the playoffs, and I'll see you guys there. Robert Williams III is open to sign a contract extension with our team, so I'm going to offer him a 3-year contract extension worth about $5.5 million, and he happily accepts. And the same with Matisse Thybulle, who only wants a minimum contract, and he happily accepts as well. At the end of season number 1, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander wins MVP, Cooper Flagg wins Rookie of the Year, Malik Monk wins 6th Man of the Year, Victor Wembanyama Defensive Player of the Year, Alexander Sarr Most Improved, Devin Booker Clutch Player of the Year, and our head coach Randall Chapman wins Coach of the Year, and we also get Executive of the Year. Let's see if we have any All-NBA selections, and we do end up getting Deni Avdija on All-NBA second team. Let's go. He did have himself an amazing season, which I'll be showing you guys here in a second. Do we have any more selections? We do not. What about on All Defensive team? So that's the only award we get as of right now. Deni Avdija making it on All-NBA second team. We did end the season being the number 1 seed, winning a total of 60 games and losing only 22. Before we start simulating the playoffs, let me show you guys the player stats and how they did in the regular season. So the leading scorer on our team was none other than the All-NBA second team player Deni Avdija, averaging 25 points per game, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, shooting 52% from the field. He had himself an amazing season here with the Portland Trailblazers. 17.5 points per game from Drew Holiday, 16 from Jeremy Grant, 14 from Shaedon Sharpe, 13.5 from Scoot Henderson coming off the bench, and 10 from Toumani Camara. And if you guys are enjoying this video so far, please make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe if you're new for more NBA 2K26 rebuilds. In the first round of the playoffs, we're taking on the Houston Rockets, who have themselves Aaron Holiday, Amin Thompson, Kevin Durant, Tari Eason, and Alperen Sengun. They have Jabari Smith Jr. coming off the bench, as well as some other players. Let's see if we can defeat the Rockets in round number 1. Game 1 does go to us, and Deni Avdija in the playoffs debut drops 47 points, 10 rebounds, and 7 assists. Drew Holiday has himself a 20-point game. Game number 2 goes to us as well. Deni Avdija drops 26, 8, and 12. Drew Holiday 24, Jeremy Grant with 22. And we do end up losing game 3 here, sadly. Kevin Durant drops 29 points on our head. Deni Avdija did have himself a triple-double, but he did struggle shooting the ball. And we do go up 3-1. Let's go. We defeat them here by 28 points. Deni Avdija drops 43, 15, and 6. So far, Avdija is averaging 32 points per game and 11 boards, as well as 9 assists in the playoffs so far. And I was thinking about which player will be the face of the Trailblazers in the future, and I was thinking it could be Scoot Henderson, but now my mind is kind of changing towards Deni Avdija because of how he's been playing here so far. Let's see how this next game goes, and we also end up winning this game. Deni Avdija leads away with 34 points, 11 boards, 7 assists. Drew Holiday has himself 19 points and 8 assists. And just like that, we're in the second round taking on the Los Angeles Clippers, who have themselves James Harden, Bogdanovic, Bradley Beal, Kawhi Leonard, and Zubac. Let's see how we do here in the second round against the LA Clippers. Game number 1 does go to us. Avdija drops 29 points, Drew Holiday with 22, and Scoot Henderson with 21. And Scoot Henderson so far is playing amazing as well, shooting 64% from the field and 64% from the 3-point line. Game number 2 we also end up winning. It's Avdija leading the way once again, 33 points, 12 boards, and 4 assists. Jeremy Grant also drops 30 points coming off of the bench. Game 3, we're up 3-0 against the LA Clippers. We win by 1 single point, and Drew Holiday led the way with 23 points and 10 assists. Jeremy Grant had 17. Avdija had himself 15, 15, and 5. Let's go. Are we going to be sweeping the Clippers? And that's exactly what we do. Avdija drops 24, 10, and 5. Drew Holiday with 1 assist shy of having a double-double. Just like that, we're in the conference finals taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves have themselves Dante DiVincenzo, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, and Naz Reid, and they do have Gobert coming off their bench, Mike Conley, Robert Dillingham, and Terrence Shannon Jr. Game number 1 does sadly go to the Timberwolves. They defeat us here by 15 points. Avdija played well, but sadly it was not enough. Game number 2 also goes to the Minnesota Timberwolves, and they only beat us here by 2 points. Avdija had 24 points, but again, we end up losing to Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle. Game 3, and just like that, we're down 3-0 against the Timberwolves. Anthony Edwards dropped 53 points on our head. Scoot had himself 28 points, Avdija had 15, he did foul out in 22 minutes, and we lost by 43 points, whoa. That is not what I was expecting. We end up losing to the Timberwolves here in Game 3 by 43, and we do not get swept at least. It looks like we are starting to push back here. Avdia drops 40 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists. Are we going to push to a Game 7? And we do not. We're eliminated in Game 6. Anthony Edwards wins Western Conference Finals MVP, Jalen Brunson Eastern Conference Finals MVP, and the New York Knicks go on to win themselves a championship with Jalen Brunson winning Finals MVP, nearly averaging 40 points per game. So before we go into the offseason, let's take a look at how our players did here in the playoffs. We played a total of 15 games, and in those 15 games, the leading scorer on our team was Deni Avdija, averaging 28 points per game, 10 rebounds, and 6 assists on really good efficiency. And so far, how Deni Avdija has been playing in the regular season and in the playoffs, he's definitely going to be a part of our future. 19 points per game from Jrue Holiday, 17 from Jeremy Grant, and 15 from Scoot Henderson. For next season, Scoot Henderson will be the new starting point guard, so I'm not sure what we're going to do with Jrue Holiday. I do know Jrue Holiday ends up regressing a ton in this offseason, so we may either be moving on from him, or if he doesn't regress, he could possibly be the backup point guard behind Scoot Henderson. But Shaedon Sharpe we're probably going to be moving on from as well. 39% from the field will not cut it. We're going to be making a lot of moves this offseason to make this team better, of course. Player retirements, LeBron James retires, Al Horford, Mike Conley, a lot of good players retiring this offseason. And whoa, Jrue Holiday is trying to retire already. I've never really seen that happen, but we're going to overturn his retirement. That way we could trade him and get something back in return. I don't want to lose Jrue Holiday for nothing, so that's why we're overturning his retirement. Before we trade away Jrue Holiday, I'm going to be trading away Jeremy Grant, who has a really big contract, $34 million, plus he's also going to be regressing this offseason. The Phoenix Suns are offering us Dillon Brooks and Royce O'Neal for Jeremy Grant and a first round pick. I'm going to take this first round pick out, and I also don't want Royce O'Neal. I'm fine with just Dillon Brooks. We do end up saving ourselves $14 million with this trade. Well, the Phoenix Suns accept this trade and they do decline. They still want the first round pick, which we're definitely not giving up, but what I will do is throw them a bunch of second round picks if they'll accept. And just like that, we end up saving ourselves $14 million and getting Dillon Brooks. Another thing that totally crossed my mind is we're getting Damian Lillard back in 4 to 6 weeks. I had totally forgot that we even have Damian Lillard on this team, so that's another big thing that's going to happen to us this coming season. I'm not sure if he's going to be starting. I do think we're going to start Scoot Henderson over Damian Lillard and probably have Lillard be the 6th man. Lillard as the 6th man will be absolutely unstoppable, putting up 20 points per game off the bench, but now we're looking to trade Jrue Holiday and Shaedon Sharpe, so let me see what we can get back in return for these two, and I'll show you guys what we come up with. So in return for Jrue Holiday and Shaedon Sharpe, I want a good 3-and-D shooting guard back in return, and Derek White fits that role perfectly. He has championship experience, he's an elite defender, elite 3-point shooter, and could help out our team a ton. So we're going to be pulling off this trade here with the Boston Celtics, where we send them Jrue Holiday, Shaedon Sharpe, and a first round pick for Derek White and Peyton Pritchard, and we also end up saving ourselves about $16 to $18 million. Peyton Pritchard we don't really need on our team since we already have Scoot Henderson and Damian Lillard, so we'll probably be using him in a trade this offseason as well, but let's go ahead and pull off this trade. Since we have the 17th overall pick in the 2026 NBA draft, let's see if we can select any decent players left with that spot. Let's see the top 3 picks in the 26th draft. The first pick the Utah Jazz have, and they take Darren Peterson. The 2nd overall pick the Pacers have, and they take Cameron Boozer. That's a great fit, especially since they no longer have Miles Turner. They get another floor spacing big man. The Rockets have the 3rd overall pick. I'm not sure how they have the 3rd overall pick, but they end up with AJ DeBonsa. This team is going to be unstoppable now. I don't know if they're even supposed to have that first round pick or it belongs to another team. Sometimes 2K does not update the first round picks. But let's go to our pick and see if we have any good players left here. So we do have this guy here who's a big man. He's 6'9". He has a C overall. I'm not sure which player we're going to be selecting here. Let me see which player would make the most sense, and we'll probably go ahead and draft a young prospect. So with our pick, we're going to be selecting Dale McMillan. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He's a 7-foot big man. He's currently listed at the power forward position, but we can move that to center position. He has a ceiling of Dennis Rodman, all NBA, so let's go ahead and select this guy here, and now he's the new big man on this team. I don't know if he's going to crack the rotation, but if he plays good in the regular season, he definitely will. That's going to be it for this NBA draft. Let's go to free agency and see what we need to do. Let's go to team player options and see what we need to do. So Donovan Clingan, we're going to pick up the team option for, same as Scoot Henderson, but we will let Chris Murray walk since he wasn't a part of this rotation. Donovan Clingan, for some reason in the regular season, was only shooting 45% from the field. I really hope he can pick things up this coming season. We need him to play a lot better than that. Qualifying offers, we don't need to re-sign anyone, which is amazing for us. Let's go to free agency and see if there's anyone to re-sign. So it's just Chris Murray and Ryan Rupert. I do believe we have a lot of money in free agency. Let's see how much money we exactly have. So we have about $14.5 million we can spend on a free agent. Let me see which free agents we should sign to make our team better. So in free agency, I was deciding between Nikola Vucevic and Isaiah Hartenstein, and I think we're going to go ahead and sign ourselves Isaiah Hartenstein. He can play make, rebound, and score when he needs to, plus he's a really good defender as well. Hartenstein's a good playmaker for a big man. Last season, we were one of the worst assists per game teams in the league, so having a big man that can average around 3 to 4 assists per game should help us out a ton. He will be the backup center though behind Donovan Clingan. Let's go ahead and offer him a 3-year contract, around $10 million a year. Let's try and flatline that and see if he accepts, and he will be accepting the contract on a 3-year, $30 million contract. I will also be giving Peyton Watson a contract, a 2-year, $10 million contract. He's a really good defender, could possibly be the backup power forward depending on how he plays. And let's see if he'll be accepting this deal, and he does accept our deal, 2 years, $11 million. Well, never mind, the Denver Nuggets decide to match that sheet offer. But now we also need to pull off one last trade this offseason, which is getting rid of Peyton Pritchard. Again, as I said earlier, we already have ourselves Damian Lillard and Scoot Henderson, so there's no need of Peyton Pritchard. Now that we have Isaiah Hartenstein and Donovan Clingan, we don't need Robert Williams III either, so let me go ahead and trade both of these players away. The power forward that I'm attempting to get on our team is Keegan Murray from the Sacramento Kings. This past season, he was shooting 45% from the three-point line, and we're also going to attempt to get ourselves a future first-round pick in the 2028 NBA Draft. To make this trade happen, we're going to be offering them Robert Williams III, Peyton Pritchard, and Yang Hansen. We do have to include Yang Hansen to make the salary match, plus he wasn't a part of our rotation anyways, and the Sacramento Kings do accept the trade. I was checking which players are down to sign a contract extension. Deni Avdija is down to sign a contract extension, and he only wants about $14 million a year. So of course we're going to go ahead and extend him on a 3-year contract. And Scoot Henderson also wants a contract extension. We will have to re-sign him next offseason, and if we wait, I believe he's going to want more money. So we're going to go ahead and sign Scoot Henderson. I'll try and lower this if possible to about $26.5 million on a 4-year contract, and he accepts as well. We're here at the start of this season with our brand new rotation. The computer generator does want us to start Damian Lillard over Scoot Henderson, but I've decided to put Scoot Henderson as a starting point guard. We want to develop Scoot Henderson as much as possible because he is going to be the future of our team. The starting lineup is going to include Scoot Henderson, Derek White, Monty Kamara, Deni Avdija, and Donovan Clingan. And then off the bench, we have Damian Lillard, Keegan Murray, Isaiah Hartenstein, and Dylan Brooks. Last season, the problem our team had was offense. We were the #1 best defensive team, but our offense was pretty bad for some reason, and that's probably because Damian Lillard was not playing for us. Now having Lillard off the bench, he's probably going to be averaging 20 points per game. That should help out our offense a ton. Let's see what the system proficiency is looking like. So we're running on balanced with a 4-star overall system proficiency under Randall Chapman. Let's go ahead and simulate the first week and see how this new roster does. And we do end up winning all 3 of the first 3 games we played. We scored 159 points against Wemby and the Spurs. Deni Avdija had 38 points, Damian Lillard off the bench had 28 points, Scoot Henderson had himself 24-point double-double, 19 from Kamara, and almost our whole team was in double-digit scoring. Avdija so far is averaging 26 points per game. Lillard off the bench as a 6-man is averaging 20 points per game. And hopefully before Damian Lillard decides to retire, we can also win him his first ever championship. He's been in the league for a long time, but sadly hasn't won a championship so far, and it would be an amazing way to retire, winning a championship with the same team that drafted you, being the Portland Trail Blazers. Let's go ahead and simulate the second week as well, and so far we haven't lost a single game. We start the season with 7 wins and 0 losses, being the number 1 seed. Damian Lillard is just playing so good for us off the bench. He's averaging 24 points per game on crazy good efficiency. I've decided we're going to be putting him in the starting point guard position and have Scoot Henderson as our 6th man, even though he will basically still be playing 30 minutes per game. Scoot Henderson is a lower overall than Damian Lillard as well, and we can make Scoot Henderson the starting point guard next season once he ends up progressing even more. But as of right now, we're going to let Damian Lillard lead this team, hopefully to a championship. Since we got back Damian Lillard, we have the best offense in the entire league. Last season, we were averaging 117 points per game, but now we're averaging 133 points per game, also making 17 three-pointers per game, whereas last season, we were only making 11 three-pointers a game. I think this is going to be the season we win ourselves a championship. I'm stopped here at the trade deadline. Dylan Brooks wants to sign a contract extension. He only wants minimum contract, so we're going to go ahead and offer him that. We're not going to be pulling off any trades this season because, as you guys can see, this season we are unstoppable. With a total of 47 wins and only 4 losses, we are the number 1 seed, and it looks like things are going to be pretty bright here in Portland. Hopefully we can continue playing like this until the playoffs and into the playoffs and win ourselves our first ever championship. I'll see you guys at the end of this season when it's time for the playoffs. We have 1 game left of the season, and I was seeing the award races, and Deni Avdija is in the award race to winning MVP, and right now he's currently the number 1 player in the award races for winning MVP, and we also have Damian Lillard at the number 5. Scoot Henderson is in the award race to winning 6th man of the year. Let's see if either of those players win. And we do get Deni Avdija winning MVP, averaging 26 points per game, 10 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 1 steal, shooting 55% from the field, 42% from the 3-point line, and 84% from the free throw line. I was not expecting Deni Avdija to be winning MVP this video, but that's definitely a bonus and we'll take it. Cameron Boozer wins Rookie of the Year with the Indiana Pacers. Scoot Henderson also wins 6th Man of the Year, averaging 20 points per game, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, shooting 57% from the field and 43% from the 3-point line. Victor Wembanyama wins Defensive Player. Scoot Henderson also wins Most Improved. Ja Morant Clutch Player, and our head coach wins Coach of the Year, and we also get Executive of the Year. Of course, we get Deni Avdija, the MVP on All NBA First Team. Will we get Damian Lillard? Let's see. And sadly, we don't get Damian Lillard on an All NBA team, but that is all right. And we don't have anyone on All Defensive Team either. But we were the number 1 seed, winning a total of 74 wins and losing only 8 games. Before we get into the playoffs, let me show you guys the player stats for our team and show you guys how they did. So in the regular season, the leading scorer on our team was Deni Avdija, averaging 26 points per game, basically 10 rebounds, 5.5 assists on amazing efficiency. Right behind him, we had Damian Lillard, averaging 26 points per game, 3 rebounds, 5.5 assists, shooting 52% from the field. Scoot Henderson off the bench was averaging 20 points per game, 6 assists, had himself an amazing season, 17 from Derek White, 10.5 from Keegan Murray, 9.5 from Kamara, and the rest of the team. For some reason, Toumani Camara is not a good 3-point shooter here in 2K Simulation. This season, he was only shooting 34% from the 3-point line, but hopefully he can pick it up here in the playoffs. And in the first round of the playoffs, we're taking on the Memphis Grizzlies, who have Ja Morant, Cedric Coward, Jalen Wells, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Zach Edey, and they have Ty Jerome coming off their bench, as well as the rest of this players. Let's see how things go here. Game number 1 does go to us, and Damian Lillard drops 30 points here. Keegan Murray with 17, Avdija with 16. Game number 2 also goes to us. Lillard leading the way once again, this time dropping 40 points. Deni Avdija 27, 9, and 7. It's time for game 3, which we also end up winning. This time it's Deni Avdija leading the way, 1 assist shy of a triple-double, 36, 12, and 9. Lillard with 35, and so far Damian Lillard is averaging 35 points per game. And we go on to sweep the Memphis Grizzlies, where Lillard scored 34 points, Scoot had 25, Avdija with 15. And just like that, we're in the second round taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. They have themselves Robert Dillingham, Anthony Edwards, Jaden McDaniels, Julius Randle, and Naz Reid. Let's take a look at how Damian Lillard is doing so far. So far he's averaging 35 points per game, 5 assists on crazy good efficiency, and the MVP, Deni Avdija, is averaging 23.5 points per game. I've never seen an 85 overall player win an MVP in 2K simulation, and that's amazing that he was our player to win the MVP, so we'll definitely be taking that. Let's see how things go against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Game number 1 does go to us, and it's Lillard dropping 40 points. The MVP, 19, 6, and 6. Derek White has been playing really good as well, averaging 20 points per game. Game number 2 goes to us as well, and this time the MVP leads the way, dropping 44, 12, and 5. Lillard had himself a 31-point double-double. And we're up 3-0 against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Lillard dropping 41 points, Avdija with a 26-point double-double. Are we going to sweep the Timberwolves? And that's exactly what we do. Lillard drops 35 points, 10 assists, Avdija 28 and 9. In the conference finals, we're going to be taking on the Golden State Warriors, who have themselves Stephen Curry, Brendan Pajemski, Jimmy Butler, PJ Washington, and Walker Kessler, and this is their bench unit. Something I forgot to mention is we are starting Keegan Murray at the small forward position, and that's because Kamara has not been playing well. He's shooting 30% from the three-point line, so Keegan Murray will be starting as a small forward. Lillard so far is averaging 36 points per game, nearly 7 assists per game. Avdija is averaging 25.5 points per game, 8.5 rebounds, 7.5 assists on crazy good efficiency. Can we make it to the NBA Finals? Let's see. Game number 1 does go to us, and it's Avdija dropping 40 points, White with 28, Lillard with 23, Scoot with 21. We do end up losing game 2 here to the Golden State Warriors by 7 points. Lillard had 34, but sadly that was not enough. We win game 3 here, Lillard 33, Avdija with 33, 14, 5, as well as 3 steals. And we're up 3-1 against Curry and the Golden State Warriors. Lillard with 26, Avdija with 26, and Scoot Henderson also with 26 off the bench. And we gentlemen sweep the Golden State Warriors, where Lillard dropped 42 points on their head, Avdija with a 30-point double-double, and just like that, we're in the NBA Finals taking on the New York Knicks. The regular season MVP also wins Western Conference Finals MVP, averaging a 29-point double-double. Karl Anthony Towns wins Eastern Conference Finals MVP, also averaging a double-double. And here in the NBA Finals, we're taking on the New York Knicks, who have Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, DeMar DeRozan, Josh Hart, and Karl Anthony Towns. It looks like they traded OG Anunoby for DeMar DeRozan, and clearly it helped them out. They are in the NBA Finals, so let's see what happens here. Game number 1 does go to us. Avdija drops 30 points, Lillard with 28. We also win game number 2. This time it's Lillard leading the way with 36 points, Avdija with 28. Time for game 3, which we also end up winning. We hold the New York Knicks to 87 points, so our defense was there. Lillard led the way here with 34 points. Avdija had himself 14. And are we going to sweep the New York Knicks? I believe they are the defending NBA champions, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, they won last year the NBA Finals. So are we going to defeat this team? And we do not sweep them, but hopefully we can gentlemen sweep them. Avdija had 18. Lillard struggled here with only 16. But we do gentlemen sweep them to win the Portland Trail Blazers a championship, with Damian Lillard winning Finals MVP, averaging 30 points per game. And that's an amazing way to win Damian Lillard his first ever championship, coming back with a team that drafted him, leading them to an NBA championship and winning Finals MVP. Let me show you guys the player stats here. So we played a total of 18 games, and in those 18 games, Damian Lillard was the leading scorer, averaging 33 points per game, and then we had Deni Avdija averaging 25, 19 from Scoot Henderson, 18.5 from Derek White, 11 from Keegan Murray. We won the Trailblazers a championship, but we are going to be running it back one more season and seeing if we can go win ourselves a back-to-back championship. I won't be making any changes to this roster this off-season, so we're going to be running with the same exact core. And I'll see you guys at the start of this final season where hopefully we can go on to win a back-to-back championship. And Damian Lillard is planning on retiring, so we're going to have to overturn his retirement and hopefully win him one last championship before he decides to hang it up, but we will overturn that for now. So for team player options, Damian Lillard declined his player option for some reason and now he's a free agent, and I don't know why, but it looks like there's a glitch in the 2K simulation where we don't have bird rights on Damian Lillard even though we're supposed to have bird rights on him, so that means we may be losing Lillard here for nothing in free agency. We do end up losing Damian Lillard here in free agency, sadly, to the Washington Wizards, who signed him on a 2-year $74 million contract, which means Lillard will no longer be a part of our future. I'm going to be trading away Toumani Camara. He has been giving us a negative impact. He's shooting 34% from the 3-point line. The previous season he was shooting well, but come to the playoffs he was playing pretty horrible, and in the estimated wins added column he's giving us literally a negative impact. So we're going to be trading him away to the Minnesota Timberwolves for Jaden McDaniels and hopefully a first round pick, where we send them Camara and Dale McMillan. They accept the trade, and just like that, we get ourselves a brand new starting small forward. Here we are at the start of this season with a new 9-man rotation. The starting lineup will include Scoot Henderson, Derek White, Jaden McDaniels, Danny Avdija, and Donovan Clingan, and then off the bench we have Brennan Pajemski, Isaiah Hartenstein, Keegan Murray, and Alex Caruso. Our team definitely took a hit this past offseason after losing ourselves Damian Lillard, but hopefully Scoot Henderson can step up and score as many points as Lillard was scoring and hopefully play to the best of his abilities and fill in Lillard's shoes. Let's go ahead and simulate the first week and see how we do. We do end up winning all 3 games, and against the Orlando Magic, we scored 169 points where the defending MVP scored 41 points, 12 rebounds, and 7 assists. Scoot Henderson had 34 points and 7 assists. If the defending MVP can continue playing like this and Scoot Henderson can continue playing like this, I think we'll be all good even though we lost Damian Lillard. Let's go to system proficiency. So we are running on a 4.5 star overall system proficiency balanced under Randall Chapman. And this season, we end up winning the NBA Cup with Danny Avdija winning NBA Cup MVP, averaging 32 points per game, 12 rebounds, and 5.5 assists. For the NBA Cup, we went up against the Indiana Pacers, and Scoot Henderson had an 18-point double-double. Avdija had 18 points and 19 rebounds. I know Damian Lillard is regretting declining that player option because now he's with the 12-seeded Washington Wizards, whereas he could have been with us, the number 1 seed, going on to win his 2nd ever championship. There's 1 game remaining of this season, and Danny Avdija, it looks like he may be going on to win a back-to-back MVP. Scoot Henderson is also in the race to winning MVP, but Danny Avdija is ahead of him. Let's see which one of the two will be winning the MVP. We have 1 game left against the Boston Celtics, which we win, and Danny Avdija goes on to win his 2nd MVP, his back-to-back MVP, this time averaging 30 points per game, 10 rebounds, 5.5 assists, shooting 56% from the field and 40% from the 3-point line. Another amazing season here from Avdija. Troy Glover wins Rookie of the Year, Jared McCain 6-man, Victor Wembanyama Defensive Player, AJ DeBonsa Most Improved, Jalen Brunson Clutch, and our head coach, Randall Chapman, wins Coach of the Year, and we also win Executive of the Year. Of course, the MVP makes it on All NBA First Team, and we also get Scoot Henderson on All NBA Second Team, and it looks like Giannis joined the Golden State Warriors. That's going to be it for awards. Do we have anyone here? We don't get anyone on All Defensive Team, but we were the number 1 seed, winning a total of 77 games and losing only 5. So we do set a new win-loss record in the regular season for a game, winning ourselves 77 games, and let me show you guys the player stats for our team. So the leading scorer was Denny Avdia, averaging a 30-point double-double. We had Scoot Henderson averaging 25 points per game as well as 9 assists, so he was playmaking really well as a starting point guard. 18.5 from Derek White, 15 from Brennan Pajemski. Amazing 6 men on our team. His shooting splits were amazing, 56, 43, 85. And 12 points per game from Jaden McDaniels, a lot better than what Toumani Camara was doing here with us. For some reason, Camara couldn't shoot, but McDaniels shot 37% from the 3-point line. And now it's time for the playoffs. We're in the first round. We're going to be taking on the Dallas Mavericks. I'm not sure how this team ended up being the number 7 seed because they're usually unstoppable here in 2K Simulation. And of course, we have to take them on here in the first round. They have themselves Kyrie Irving, Cooper Flag, and Anthony Davis. Let's see how things go. Game number 1, we do end up winning and the MVP drops 35, 16, and 4. We also win game number 2 and 3, and we sweep the Dallas Mavericks to make it to the second round. And so far, the MVP is averaging 35 points per game, 13.5 rebounds, and 5 assists per game. In the second round of the playoffs, we're taking on the San Antonio Spurs, who still have De'Aaron Fox, Dylan Harper, and Victor Wembanyama, as well as Stephon Castle coming off of their bench. Let's see how things go here. Game number 1 does go to us. Avdia drops 37, 14, and 7. Wemby had 22, 2 assists shy of a triple-double, but we still get this win. Game number 2 also goes to us. Avdia with 38, 15, and 6. Scoot Henderson had himself 16 assists and 28 points. And we do end up losing game 3 here. Wemby dropped 30 points on us. Avdia had 26, but sadly it was not enough. They held us to 98 points, whereas they scored 148. And they do end up tying up the series here. Wemby is pushing back, dropped 31 points on our head, and once again they hold us to under 100 points. So I am going to come up with a defensive coach game plan before we advance to game 5. Defensive coach game plan has been set. Time for game number 5, where we will have home court advantage. Can we go out there and get this win? So far we do have the lead and we're playing really good defense here. We hold the Spurs to 93 points and end up winning this game. Denny Avdia had 28, 14, 21 from Pods, and 20 from Derek White. How was our defense? So we did hold Wemby to 24 points, but he still played pretty well here. Hopefully we can continue with this type of defense, slow down the rest of the Spurs team. Even if we can't stop Wemby, slowing down his teammates will help. And so far we do have the lead, and it looks like we will be winning this game, where we score 147 points. Denny Avdia had 40 points, 11 boards, 8 assists, and 4 steals. Scoot Henderson with 32, Pods with 22. Wemby did play good, but luckily we end up getting this win, and now we're in the conference finals. And in the conference finals, we're taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have Robert Dillingham. They no longer, okay, never mind, they do have Anthony Edwards, but they have Desmond Bane at the shooting guard position and Anthony Edwards at the small forward. They still have Julius Randle, Naz Reid, and Toumani Camara coming off of their bench, and now somehow Camara shooting 40% from the 3-point line. Last playoffs, he was shooting about 30%, I believe even under 30% from the 3-point line for our team, but whatever, it is what it is. Game number 1 does go to the T-Wolves. They defeat us here by 21 points. We win game 2. Scoot Henderson drops 43 points, 34 from Denny Avdia. We also win game 3 here. Denny Avdia 36, Scoot with 29, and we're up 3-1. We gentlemen sweep the Minnesota Timberwolves to make it back to the NBA Finals. Denny Avdia wins Western Conference Finals MVP, averaging 32 points per game, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. Cade Cunningham wins Eastern Conference Finals MVP, averaging 40 points per game. And now let's take a look at the Detroit Pistons. They have themselves Cade Cunningham, Colin Sexton, Ausar Thompson, Ron Holland, and Jalen Duren, and this is their bench unit. I do think we can defeat this team, but Cade Cunningham is clearly a problem. Bro's dropping 35 points per game. Game number 1 does go to our team. Denny Avdia with 37 and 12, 1 assist shy of a triple-double. Scoot with a double-double. Game 2 also goes to us, and this time Avdia drops 42 points, Scoot with another double-double, and Derek White with 26. And Damian Lillard is definitely regretting leaving our team because it looks like we're going to be winning another championship and we're up 3-0. Avdia 30 points, 21 from Derek White. Are we going to sweep the Detroit Pistons? And that's exactly what we do to win the Portland Trail Blazers a back-to-back championship, with Denny Avdia winning Finals MVP, averaging 33 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists per game, shooting 55% from the field and 43% from the three-point line. Let's take a look at the player stats for the playoffs. We played a total of 19 games, and in those 19 games, Avdia led the way with 33 points per game, 22 from Scoot Henderson, 18.5 from Derek White and the rest of the team. And in the NBA Finals, the leading scorer was Avdia, averaging 33, Scoot was averaging a 20-point double-double, Derek White with 19, and the rest of the team. That's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please make sure to drop a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button if you're new for more NBA 2K26 rebuilds, and also comment down below which video you guys would like to see next, and click here on the screen to watch my latest upload. Until next time, it's your boy Dragon, and I'm out. Peace.